welcome back to They Did What? Your source on the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I got a story titled, To Those That Have Been Cheated On. And a shout out to Christian for sending in this story. And guys, our story here, holy crap, this is an interesting one. About a guy in his 50s who thought he found the one that's best to spend the rest of his life with, as obviously as an older guy. And well, couldn't be any further from the truth. This story is about a gal, his girlfriend, who, let me tell you, she put on the show of being this straight-laced, amazing gal, and good Lord, does he find out she's anything but that. And this story teaches you anything, any warnings is, my God, pay attention. You got to do your homework who you get serious with. Because there are people out there who are such good liars, such good actors or actresses, it goes both ways, that you can be completely screwed over and never see it coming. You really got to do your homework. That's all I can say about that. And another thing is, this story is a perfect example of the Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 we're living in. And when you find out such things, guys, break up with them, get them out of your life, because it ain't going to get better. So it starts off saying, how can a person look you in the eyes, stone cold, and say they love you, and have no form of accountability? I don't know. It's been happening since the beginning of time. No effing clue. I've tried to work through that thought for so long, and all I'm left with is a mix of panic, disappointment, and confusion. When I finally found out the last 5 years that what I thought was my end-all, be-all, growed old together, was as a massive manipulation, I went into a state of shock for an entire week. No sleep for an entire 5-day period, barely a bite to eat, just pacing back and forth every day. This is going to be long, but I'm going to break it down right here. Well, you're going to see, guys, that definitely him being in shock is warranted. And no woman should ever, or guy for a woman watching this, your end-all be-all. No human being should be your end-all be-all. You're out of your mind. Well, we started out as mutual friends in a board game night group that met up once a week to indulge in whatever geeky tabletop adventure that was most pleasing to the majority. After a few months, we really connected, and I felt really at peace being around what I thought to be a very strong, outgoing, passionate, and true woman that stood on values of honesty, integrity, and open communication, or so I thought. Man, dude, you were fooled. Either you were blind as a bat, or she was a freaking master at covering her tracks and covering who she really is. At the time, when we really started dating, she informed me that she had an S-word partner, which I met and we got along with, and I really didn't mind because, number one, everything was out in the open with no secrets, and two, I'm one kinky SOB. So you started dating. And obviously it was casual dating. You were in a friend group, and then you started dating because you like playing fucking in the game of life and Candyland, board games and all. And casual dating, and she informed me, oh, by the way, some other guy's banging me. Well, if that was someone to be a friend of benefits, fine. Just be careful. But to make your girlfriend an end-all be-all, that's madness. This guy didn't know. A year or more went by, and things got more serious. She came to me and told me that she wanted to be in a fully monogamous relationship, and she had cut ties with the other partner, which I got confirmation from the other partner, and this was indeed true. You can't turn an HOE into a housewife, bro. And by the way, they're both, at least what it sounds like when they're in their 50s now, it sounds like. So this is obviously when they were both in their 40s. So around my age. Well, awesome. We moved in together, started actually growing as a couple, remodeling the old home we were in, sharing a true intimacy, worked on life goals, and got very far with each other's help. Sure, there were a few rough patches, and I was a cocaine addict for half of the 5 years and had other emotional issues on my own. Whoa, okay, well, that ain't good. You had your share of problems. And that may have been affecting your judgment a tad, but still, no guy deserves what she's going to dish out to him. She also clearly had been through some rough times. Both of us grew up getting bad things happening to us and our families and whatnot. But despite our hiccups, we've always found our way back to each other within a month or so. We separated 3 different times during then, 3 weeks here, 1 week, 4 weeks. Sounds like a lot of freaking drama. But I bet you, both of them, that's what they're used to. He said both of us had bad childhoods where things got physical with mom and dad and everything like that, so they're used to turmoil and drama, and that's how they found each other. You do this long enough, guys, you pick up on the clues. Well, eventually we got to our next stage in life together, which involved a plan to travel indefinitely in an RV camper situation. She sold the house, retired, and I helped her move the bulk of her retirement into an investment portfolio. I sold my 2 vehicles, quit my job, and did the same thing. We booked an extended stay for 3 months while I ironed out all the details. Okay, they're retiring in their 50s, selling everything they had, buy the RV, and travel the country and have a good time. I mean, that sounds kind of neat to do for a little while. I couldn't do that full time. Some people do. But it sounds fun for a few months of the year. Now, here is where things came crashing down. Dude, they've been crashing since you got together. You just didn't know it. So I'm lying in bed, taking a nap one day, and I glanced over to her texting. No big deal, right? I ask, "Who's that?" Not in any tone that could have been taken negatively, and she says, "Oh, it's just the lady gang." Now, I know that this is not to be true because that is not the contact I saw. I waited a few minutes, a little on edge, since that's a strange thing to lie about, that I was in clear view and close enough to make out a contact name. I'll look over again, and she assumes I'm back to watching TV, and here we go. Paragraphs to Adam. I slowly get the text, word to focus, and see she inviting the man over. Over to your RV? Adam, huh? Now, I didn't react in an explosive manner. I'm secure enough with myself that I'm perfectly okay with people of the opposite sex just being friends. No big deal. I did, however, have a weird feeling due to the outright lie to my face about who it was to begin with. What do you expect? You said yourself there's some drama here, and it started off with your relationship when you were dating, and she had some guy she was hooking up with left and right. One lie, 2 lies, doesn't matter. A lie is a lie. That ain't a good thing for a relationship, and you're banking your future on this chick. And no, she shouldn't be having guy friends that she talks to and hang out with. So it's an hour before I'm about to head out to meet my brother for a monthly hangout across town. I take a mere solid stance and push back a little bit on the potential situation. I say, "So why are you lying to me about texting a person named Adam and saying that you're texting your lady gang group?" She says, "Who's Adam?" And I say, "Adam is the man you're texting and have been texting for the last 45 minutes. Here we go. Well, she gives me a look that can only be described as "fuck off." I push further and reveal the information that I'd seen, which is something along the lines of him being on his way over. Mind you, I'm about 20 minutes from walking out the door to go see my bro for a few hours. I'll shorten this up a bit and get it for you all. With 100% damning evidence, they've been conversing in extreme detail, sexual acts in which they would like to perform on each other. She quickly tries to delete the message string, which so happened to be 5,000 texts long, which I just recovered on my laptop through iCloud. Whoa, that's a lot of freaking texting, amongst everything else. This is when you get rid of her, dude. But she has no house, nowhere to go, no job, nothing. Great. You banked your future on a piece of garbage. Well, she then proceeded to text him, "Hey, my boyfriend saw our text, so it's off." He replied, "You never told me you had a boyfriend." A lot of guys end up hooking up with taken women, they have no idea. "I would have never sent you money or accepted any of your advances if I would have known that. This moron sent her money. You tried to get me to come see you while hiding the fact you're in a relationship." She replied, "So? You have a girlfriend, so what's the problem?" Okay, well, that's so then. What's he bitching about? There was an initial argument between us. She tried to say that I didn't cheat on you. It was all talk, nothing happened. Well, let's be honest here, he was on his way over, and the only reason why they didn't hook up that night is due to me catching her red-handed. I'll spare the details of the initial yelling that continued on. Well, I then, over the next few days, covertly started digging for any other indications of infidelity, and oh boy, I did get much more than I bargained for. Now, listen to this, guys. I'll spare the whole investigative process here and just share with you that I found 20 separate, confirmed, undeniable instances of cheating. No, not 20 times with the same guy, 20 different men. Whoa, that's a lot of freaking baloney. 20 freaking dicks. Sounds to me that she's a nympho. It's not a pass. It just is what it is. And this is the gal they thought he was banking his future on. She did a great job of covering her tracks, unless he was fucking high on coke and he didn't know. There were confirmable and undeniable instances of cheating, and I'm talking pictures, detailed discussion, some even, hey, my boyfriend won't be home until I come over. I need your you-know-what again this week, so bad kind of stuff. All time stamped, the evidence was really nothing short of me catching the act happen. That's how much proof there was. There was also some questionable ones, but I like to live in the realm of facts backed by evidence. Even more digging led me to find out sometimes she'd say that she was single or that she and I were in an open relationship and that I knew what she was doing. There's another one that happens a lot. A lot of guys end up hooking up with women who claim they're in an open relationship. You ever meet a girl that does that, guys? First of all, don't get involved. But if you do, you better verify with the guy. They'll lie. Well, some were straight up insulting me like I'm some sort of beta cuck. She even talked about it with her sister and all her friends. I even discovered that one night after coming home from work that I had unknowingly licked up another man's on her nether region. Ugh. She did that on purpose. She knew. Did that on purpose. Oh, God. I want to get that image out of my mind. Which was laughed about in a string of texts with one of her friends, and it's probably not the worst thing about what else I unknowingly had done. Literally everybody knew, and I had no idea for 5 years. 5 years she's doing this, and her friends knew, her sister knew. Yeah, not surprised. Well, listen to this, guys. This is so common. She denied, deflected, blame shift harder than I've ever seen someone do, and that's saying a lot because previously had been in rehab getting off the coke, around people that were meth addicts and opiate addicts that would do anything to not have to reap what they sow. She refused to even look at the chat logs I had. She'd scream and yell things that weren't even relevant, big fucking surprise, and say that I was jealous and toxic. Jealous and toxic? He found evidence you're cheating with 20 different dudes. How the fuck is he jealous and toxic? And what he described about addicts trying to avoid all accountability and admit that something's wrong, I have first-hand experience with that with a family member I occasionally referred to. Yep. She tried to delete everything on every platform, which is just restored and screenshotted from my laptop. Not once did I lose my composure. I made a priority to make her still feel safe, not shamed, not attacked in any way. Well, that's the best way to attempt to get info out of her, even though she's lying through her fucking teeth. I buried all my feelings just to try and attempt to have a mature adult conversation with a woman I love for some reason still today. Well, I guess I love the illusion she showed me. Yes, you love what you thought she was, and she was a master of fooling you. She's a pathological fucking liar, man. You know? I know a lot of guys are probably like, how could he not notice that? Well, some women are that goddamn good. But it also didn't hurt that he was high a lot. She kept telling me, I love you, I give up everything, I sold my house, retired 12 years early to be with you, yada, yada, yada. I also found out that she always had a backup plan ready to go. Every one of our small breakups were fabricated as well. That's not me assuming that came out of her mouth or multiple text exchanges, archived video calls. They always have a backup plan. I mean, nowadays, anybody, man or woman in a relationship should have a backup plan, frankly. In fact, it's usually women that do. Guys, you need to have it as well. That same woman, when we first met, stood 10 toes down on honesty, respect, open communication, and would flame anyone for ever doing anything close to what she did to me. She always showed an extreme hatred towards people that were liars and unfaithful. Turns out she's the person she hates so much. Well, yeah, and she was full of crap. The only thing missing here is him saying that she's like this ultra-religious churchgoer. That'd be the ultimate irony. I honestly still to this day take pity on her. I still love her and have no hate in my heart towards her. Some things you cannot come back from. Smack! That warranted one. Dude, you can hate her. You love what you thought she was. This is not, what you love is not her. All the shit she did to you. You're allowed to have some hate for at least a while to get through the hardships. Her family still thinks I'm a loser that fucked everything up while she maintains a flawless image. Of course, because she's a master lying them too, and you didn't control the narrative. I went and got tested. I tested positive for chlamydia, or however you spell it. I got myself medication and her meds too. She said, I've never had an STD. It had to come from you. I did nothing more than shake my head like an upset dad, holding a floodgate of tears back. He gets chlamydia, and she's like, oh, that's not for me. Nope, you must have got it. Doesn't surprise me. I was then forced to do the responsible thing and contact her confirmed partners and also potential ones. She wasn't ever going to tell me the truth, so obviously I made a fool of myself sending out a lot more messages. In my head, it's the right thing to do. To inform people who have any S-word contact with a person who has an STD, they should go get tested, treated as well. The morally right thing to do as an adult. The task was very hard for me to do, and I felt so embarrassed. For the guys that didn't know she had a relationship, yeah, they deserved to know. But obviously there were ones that knew she was in a relationship, and they deserved to suffer through that. But how could he know who's who? Every day since has been a battle. A battle to stay sober, a battle to try and have an even pinch of trust in any human being that I encounter. A battle to not harm myself. What I just typed here drove me to insanity, broke me more than I thought ever possible, and drove me to try and take my own life 3 times. Sir, don't do it. It's not worth it. She was a master at hiding things, covering it up. It's not worth it. You're going to really end yourself and let her be the reason for that? Your best revenge is living. Success. One day at a time. If you're reading this and you've been cheated on and manipulated like this, take refuge in knowing you are not alone. You deserve respect. You deserve to be treated with dignity. You are worthy of love. Don't ever tell yourself that you're not enough. Keep pushing forward. The weight gets easier to carry. But know that the burden never goes away. Learn to stand tall and grow strong from carrying that weight. Don't you dare let it crush you. Well, amen. And before I get into some Q&A, because it'll give some more details here, holy fucking shit. That's crazy. But this is an example, guys, of why you really must do your homework and do digging. Because there could be some other guy doing digging on her. You wouldn't believe this shit. I mean, this is unbelievable. 20 fucking dudes? Well, it's probably a lot more. And that was 20 dudes we discovered, I guess, recently. I'm sure there were plenty more over time. But obviously, they broke up. He kicked her to the curb, and he's having a hard time recovering. But you know what? He will get over time. You know, the older you get, it is easier to get over this type of shit. At least if you've been around the block enough times. I mean, if this was like his first relationship, yeah, it's going to be hard. But after a lifetime of pros and cons, ups and downs, you can tend to move on quickly. What this guy needs to do is get himself, he wants something that was forever, love and loyalty and respect forever. Time to get a dog. Or for the cat brothers like me, a loving cat or cats or a couple dogs. And that will definitely fill the void. Take it one day at a time. Spend time with people that care. Exercise. Enjoy yourself. And be cautious. And do your homework. And don't get back on the coke. That's all I can say. Now, his Q&A here, because some people want to know, and there's more details about her. He says here, one guy says here, I just don't understand how couples have so much freedom to engage in this much betrayal. My spouse and I spend 95% of our free time together and never lock our phones or accounts anywhere. No need to. I honestly don't think there was ever an hour in 25 years or I didn't know where she was because we simply share life together. Well, this guy wasn't married to her, I want to point out, but not that would matter. And he says, we had a conflicting work schedule. She was 6 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. I was 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. or till 8 a.m. depending on the day. It was only when we both got on the same freed ourselves from those opposite work schedules, I was able to discover what was going on. So pretty much when I was going at work at night, she was getting down and dirty. There you go, different work schedules. He's walking out the door and Chad Tyrone's crawled in through the RV window. Another one, this is what he said. This is longer, but it's important. He says, thank you for experience-based input. It's been 8 months since the end. It has gotten a little bit better, but I can't blame my struggles 100% on just the cheating and deceptions. I had already struggled with PTSD and bipolar disorder prior to entering the relationship. The betrayal sure did put my pre-existing conditions into overdrive, though. She moved to a different state to most likely do the exact same thing that she did to me and the other men before me. She's not going to change. A leopard doesn't change his spots. A tiger doesn't change his stripes. Being in the low 50s, the behavior was completely unexpected, which caused lapses in my intuition and judgment, as you don't normally see this type of behavior and past that age range. I'm damn sure if I was in my 20s or 30s when this went down, I would have failed to act in a proper way with decorum, tact, and maturity. I did get a slight bit of pleasure in the fact that looks eventually fade and we all become ugly on the outside. In other words, guess what? Her looks are going to fade. But somebody will find her attractive even when she's an old fucking granny. So when her beauty does fade, I know she'll be very lonely. Not having a true loving partner by her side, and her past will eat her away every second of the day till she takes her last breath. Well, good. She deserves it. Hell, I have things that eat me every second of the day, every day, but at least I have genuine people that reciprocate the honest love I give them. The circle of friends is very small, but very strong. Well, there you go. You don't need to have massive amount of friendships and people in your life. You just need a couple of good friends that you truly can count on, brothers or women watching this, sisters. That's all you need. And frankly, I'd recommend a dog or a cat, or dogs or cats. And just take it one step at a time. But my God, all I can say is time ain't going to heal all wounds. I think that's a bunch of crap. But time can help minimize the pain. And yes, karma will get her eventually. Guaranteed. She'll probably catch some disease and fucking rot from the inside. But she's already rotting from the inside. I still think that she's a nympho. Aside from a pathological liar and all that. But anyhow, I'm glad he got rid of her. And I'm amazed at how well he kept his cool. He mentioned that he was in the military, and he said when he was younger, he probably would have fallen off the handle and done some things that would have gotten put behind bars. But I'm glad he didn't do that, because it's not worth it there. But there you go, guys. 20 freaking dudes. This is why I do this channel. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.